Hello and welcome back to another episode of Dual Links. I wanted to go in and put my thoughts in on the skill rebalancing and the forbidden limited list implementations. So first we'll go over the skill rebalancing. So the skills that they are planning on rebalancing are the trick up the sleeve and the last gamble. These two skills have seen an increase in use just on the simple fact that Arcana likes to use the trick up the sleeve for the Cosmo Brain. That way, if he's the only card that is the set level 7 Dark Spellcaster, you will start with him in your hand and is very popular with Blue Eyes. That way, you get him out first turn with the Blue Eyes. So that has definitely seen an increase. So having this skill be changed to where then you cannot special summon effect monsters during your first turn. Will this affect it? Yes. Will it stop it from being used? No. Just because you can't special summon your effect monsters on your first turn, that doesn't mean you won't see an increase of winged Karibos or sphere Karibos in these decks, just to provide you with another turn to where you don't, you can survive one turn without using this skill. Last Gamble is definitely been used almost in every single deck. Once Balance, once Restart, once all these skills got hit. Last Gamble was probably the, oh hey, we're going to use Last Gamble now instead. I personally don't like using it just because it is a gamble, because, you roll a dice and you get those cards in your hand. Not to mention you discard 2 cards from your hand, so you limit yourself on how many cards and how many resources you can actually use utilizing this skill. And I think there's plenty of other skills that can be used. I don't like using Last Gamble, but I know it's been extremely popular. So then this now changes from turn 5 to turn 7 and onward, which will this stop people from using it? No. Most, a good duel will last past turn 7, and with the Forbidden list now being hit with the other cards, the OTKs will slowly start to diminish, which is good. So will Last Gamble still be used? I definitely see that, but I personally don't use this skill. I think there's plenty of other better skills out there that can be utilized. So now moving on from the skill rebalancing, going on to the Forbidden Limited list. These cards definitely, I think, are perfect for this limitation. The Kokai Miru have been way overpowered and way dominating in the meta for way too long. There's too many OTKs with this deck. Is it impossible to beat? No, but if you are building your deck around stopping the Kokai Miru, then other decks will just wipe the floor with you. So I am very pleased to see Kokai Mirus being knocked down. Will this stop them from using it? No. I think there is still limitations that need to be placed on the Kokai Mirus, but this is a great start. Spellbooks, do I think this card needed to be put on the limited list? Yes and no. Do I think a lot of people use these cards? Not necessarily. Spellbook, to me, I don't like playing against them or playing them just because they take so long. There's so much searching, so many play effects, and on those effects, if you're going up against an opponent that has a poor internet connection, then it just takes even longer and it just drags the duel out, and you just want to surrender, but then you don't, because then it'll be a loss. And so I think spellbooks, they're just not fun to play against. Now, does that mean I don't like Silent Magician? No, not at all. I love Silent Magician. But I think there are plenty of other variants that you can use with the Silent Magician that are much better than just spellbooks. Moving down the list, the semi-limited, the Iron Core of Kokai Miru. So yes, again, we're getting towards Kokai Miru decks being less consistent. Will it stop them from being played? No, not at all. I think they will adapt and they will still be top tier, and therefore I do think that they will need to be hit again with something else, but that will be determined from Konami, of course. Samurai Skull. Now this is geared towards the vampire decks. This card I think might have been better if it was a different card, because I think they were trying to gear it towards getting the vampire decks from using the enemy controller, because using the enemy controller in the vampire deck can give you an advantage. That's one reason why they put enemy controller on the semi-limited list, not necessarily because the card itself was too overpowered, but the plays that you can use with its second effect, that you sacrifice one of your own monsters to take over another monster. That effect becomes too powerful in these type of decks that allow you to sacrifice their monster, that allows you to sacrifice their resources for your own. That's why I believe they put Samurai Skull on here. But I think they could have definitely put a different card on here that would have given them the same effect, that did not cause vampires to become more pay to play now. Because now you're going to have to get at least one of the Gozukis in your deck for this specific reason, whereas Samurai Skull gave you those searches that you needed to throw your resources in the graveyard like you need, without having it to be an extremely high pay to play because it's an R card out of the box. So I do think that they did extremely well against the Kokai Miro and the spell books. Samurai Skull, I understand why they want that to happen with the vampires. Am I okay with it? Yeah, sure. Is it something they could have done better? Just on the simple fact that then it changes the meta to be more pay to play with the vampire. But, this is a good start. So do I think they should have added more cards to this list? Maybe. I definitely expect something from the Ancient Gear category to be thrown on here, just on the simple fact that Ancient Gears are still dominating, and it's hard to combat against the Ancient Gears. So I do see Ancient Gears coming on this list eventually. A big topic of debate is the Paleozoic Canadia. I'm actually going to post another video about that, along with another couple cards and my thoughts on if they should be added to this limited list. So that's it for this video against the skill and the forbidden lists. If you like this video, give me a like, hit that subscribe button for more Duel Links content coming your way. If you need anything, just any suggestions, any questions, feel free to hit that comment up, ask me. I'll be more than happy to try and help you out the best I can. Until next time.